This next encounter follows Morazvi, one of the most intense and fearless paranormal explorers on YouTube, as he investigates what he claims is one of the most spiritually dangerous apartments he's ever entered. Known for tracking ghosts and demonic entities across Russia and Eastern Europe, Morazvi rarely backs down, but this time even he admits he may have gone too far. The apartment has a notorious reputation. Former tenants reported shadowy figures, objects moving on their own, disembodied voices, and sudden drops in temperature, even during the summer. Some neighbors claim they heard growling coming from within the walls. Most people fled and never returned. Morazvi didn't just come to observe, he came to make contact. Entering late at night, he was armed with multiple cameras, an EMF detector, a thermal imager, and a walkie-talkie system wired to a spirit board-like device. The moment he steps inside, the atmosphere shifts. The air feels heavy, the silence dense. You can almost feel the energy watching him. Something in that apartment isn't just present, it's waiting.
Итак, друзья, я в этой квартире.
Morozov's handheld thermal camera begins picking up erratic heat signatures, strange inconsistent hot and cold spots that don't make sense. The most disturbing readings come from the kitchen and hallway, where the temperature jumps wildly between 22 degrees Celsius and 2 degrees Celsius in a matter of minutes. Then without warning, the sounds begin. Faint at first, knocks, creaks, the subtle scrape of something dragging across the floor, but they quickly grew louder, more deliberate. There's a deep thud from the hallway, followed by what sounds like slow, deliberate footsteps pacing just out of frame. Morozov freezes, his breathing audible on the mic, and for a moment, the air seems to hold its breath with him. Whatever is in that apartment isn't just residual energy, it's active, aware, and moving closer.
Я не понимаю, откуда звук. На мониторах ничего не видно.
Tapping, creaking, and whispers, too soft to understand but undeniably present, begin to fill the air. The microphone captures faint voices that clearly aren't Morozov's, and on playback, they seem to react to his every step. As he moves deeper into the apartment, a shadow briefly crosses the hallway behind him, visible for just a split second in a reflective surface. He spins around, flashlight raised, but finds nothing. In the living room, he places a doll near a temperature sensor, hoping to trigger some activity. Moments later, the front door creaks open and slams violently shut. The tension rises. Morozov, now visibly shaken and sweating, despite the room dropping to near freezing, tries to regain control. Then a deafening crash erupts from the kitchen. Plates are shattered across the floor, plates he hadn't touched. He pleads with whatever's in the apartment to stop, but the activity intensifies. The lights cut out, static blasts from the radio. Whatever this is, it isn't just residual, it's aware. After nearly an hour of escalating phenomena, Morozov finally breaks. He announces he's leaving, gathers his equipment, and exits quickly. Whether it was a spirit, a poltergeist, or something far darker, Morozov doesn't pretend to know. But he makes one thing clear: he'll never step foot in that apartment again. In a short yet unsettling clip originally shared on TikTok by user Lauren Burlex, a hiker in the UK captured a moment that left many viewers rattled. The now viral video shows the hiker reaching the summit of a remote hill during what seems to be a solo camping trip. As the camera slowly pans across the open landscape, something strange appears on the opposite ridge, a bizarre gathering that instantly shifts the mood from peaceful to eerie. Take a look. In the clearing below, a group of adults dressed entirely in white stands in a perfect circle, with two casually dressed children positioned in the center. The scene is dead silent and eerily precise, prompting the hiker to begin filming and share the clip online. The video is short, just a few seconds, but the unsettling atmosphere is undeniable. Some viewers suggested the group were modern-day druids, followers of a contemporary form of Celtic spirituality known for conducting nature-based rituals. According to that interpretation, it was likely a peaceful spiritual gathering, but not everyone was convinced. The visual of white-robed adults encircling children in such a remote setting struck a nerve, unsettling many who saw it. Whether the gathering was harmless or not, there's no denying the sense of unease it created. Some moments don't need a backstory to be disturbing. They haunt you all on their own. What's your take on this? The Turkish channel Ramble Soul, typically known for its serene and cinematic countryside camping adventures, took a frightening turn in this particular episode. Run by a couple who focus on peaceful lakeside cooking, fishing, and nature, their content rarely dips into anything unsettling. But this trip was different. They had just arrived at one of their favorite remote lakeside spots, eager to enjoy the calm weather and test out a brand new inflatable tent. Everything felt perfect until the wind started picking up as the sun began to set. At first, they didn't think much of it. Spring winds weren't unusual, and they assumed it would pass. But it didn't. The gusts got stronger, more violent, and soon they found themselves scrambling to secure their gear and hunker down inside the tent for the night. The camera cuts to morning, and what follows is chaos.
Oo. O ne ya?
Aşkım. Ya. Saçmalama. Dur.
Al şunu al. Ne var içeride?
Oh.
Sana yandım. Şu arabanın anahtarı.
Ya patlar mı onlar?
Patlayacak bir şey yok. Çok yaklaşma. Tüpler patlayabilir. Sana bir su getirsene şeyden.
Şurada.
Ha, olur.
Sevgili nasıl
Patlamaz ya.
yapacağız?
Patlamaz. Şunu da al. Ver onu bana.
Of ya.
Aa. Ah.
Canım.
Ha?
Nasıl dökeceğiz bunu?
Ver ben dökerim. Dur şunu koyayım.
Of ya. Aman.
Of ya. Sanoş bir saniye daha.
Of. Of ya.
Ta bagajın altındaki gözde.
While they were having breakfast, everything changed in an instant. Without warning, their brand new reinforced inflatable tent suddenly caught fire. The culprit appeared to be a nearby inverter system connected to their power supply. It had either overheated or malfunctioned, sparking flames that quickly licked up the synthetic tent fabric. Within seconds, the fire spread rapidly. The tent's internal pressure caused it to collapse inward as they frantically rushed for the fire extinguisher. Thankfully, no one had been inside when it ignited. Had they been just a few minutes slower, the outcome could have been tragic. They fought the blaze with everything they had: water, sand, the extinguisher. But it was too late to save the tent. In the aftermath, the couple stood stunned. Normally upbeat and composed on camera, they were visibly shaken. She cried, not just over the lost gear, but over the terrifying realization of how close they came to disaster. He tried to stay strong, offering her comfort, but even his voice trembled as he surveyed the damage. Despite everything, they ended the video with gratitude. It was the first and last time they ever used that tent. What mattered most was that they both walked away unscathed. Most people wake up to the sound of a kettle or the promise of a quiet morning, but on one camping trip in South Africa's Sabi Sands Game Reserve, Dylan Panos, a seasoned outdoorsman and guide, woke up to something else entirely. He stepped into a small kitchen setup, expecting to start the day with coffee, when a low guttural growl stopped him cold. A lion was just outside. What was supposed to be a peaceful morning in the bush turned into a tense, life-threatening standoff. Keep watching, because what happens next is crazy. Trapped between his morning routine and two wild predators, Dylan Panos, a seasoned guide in South Africa's Sabi Sands, found himself in a surreal standoff. He stepped into his makeshift camp kitchen, only to be met by a low growl. A male lion stood outside, and not far off, a lioness had taken a position along the camp wall.
We've got a honeymoon couple in camp. And the lioness, she's lying right here by the wall. And we can't get even to make our coffee this morning. Very rude behavior.
Dylan, trying to stay calm, joked to the camera about being denied his coffee, but the tension was unmistakable. He was surrounded, pinned by instinct and circumstance in the middle of the bush, with no clear way out. The male was clearly guarding the lioness, who lay sprawled along the outer wall of Dylan's kitchen area, completely uninterested in him or anything else. From inside, Dylan could hear the low, rumbling growl. It vibrated through the air. He glanced at the thin chicken wire fence surrounding his camp and wondered if it offered any real protection. With two of Africa's top predators just feet away, even all his years of experience couldn't take away the sense of vulnerability. What was supposed to be a quiet morning had turned into a quiet standoff. He stayed calm, documenting the moment on camera, but it was tense. The male lion stayed close, pacing occasionally and locking eyes with Dylan through the flap of the tent. The lioness didn't move, just rested there, silent. Finally, after several minutes, they wandered off into the brush. No confrontation, no damage. Just a powerful reminder how thin the line is out there, between routine and danger, between control and chaos. Dylan made it out safe, and he eventually got his coffee. But for a while, that peaceful morning turned into a face-to-face encounter with the wild. I guess if things were to go south, at the claws and teeth of that adorable kitty wouldn't be too bad, am I right? In September 2021, outdoor explorer and YouTuber Erlo Brown, known for his solo hikes and peaceful nature content, ventured deep into the remote forests of South Africa. His goal was simple: set up a trail camera and hopefully capture rare footage of local wildlife in an area with minimal human activity. The deeper he hiked, the more isolated the trail became, narrow, overgrown, and clearly rarely used. The path twisted through a dense valley with only one visible way in or out, which Erlo pointed out made it a perfect spot for animal movement. His focus was on finding the ideal tree, something concealed, but with a clear line of sight to the trail ahead. But what he ended up capturing would be nothing like what he expected.
I think we have found a perfect place to place the trail camera. So this trail running along here is literally the only entrance and exit for this entire valley. And you can see it's very narrow, so it's very easy to funnel the animals in one spot. You know exactly where they'll be walking. It's very dense around here. So I guess animals can walk wherever they want. They don't need the trail. But I'm almost 100% convinced we'll catch some animals on this trail. Just look at how nice that is. I just have to find a good spot to place the camera. I'm not too concerned about people finding the camera. This trail isn't used a lot because it's just a one-way. It's not a through-way. So maybe a tree. I reckon this tree could maybe work.
He paused near one tree, debating whether it was too exposed to mount the camera. As he scanned the area for a better spot, the calm silence of the forest was shattered by a deep, low growl. It came from nearby, close enough to cut him off mid-sentence. The sound was loud, guttural, and forceful, not something that could be easily dismissed. It didn't match anything he'd heard in the wild before. Erlo froze, straining to listen, but now the forest around him had gone completely still. No birds, no wind, just silence, and whatever had made that sound.
This tree could maybe work, although that's going to be very obvious. Maybe if we find something that's a little bit further into the tree line, so it's better hidden, this could perhaps work. I have no idea what that was. That was not an animal. I think I'm gonna leave.
He couldn't say for sure what had made the sound, but it didn't resemble any animal call he recognized. Later, after replaying the moment in his mind, he considered the possibility that it had been a leopard, a realization that made the situation far more dangerous than he initially thought. In this part of South Africa, leopards are silent hunters, known to stalk from above and strike without warning. Surrounded by thick foliage and with limited visibility overhead, Erlo suddenly understood just how exposed he was. He didn't want to find out more. Abandoning his plan to set up the camera, he turned and left the forest immediately. Whether it was a leopard or something else, one thing was clear. He wasn't alone. Something had been watching. Four Wheels to Freedom, a channel known for capturing the joys and challenges of van life, opens their latest video on a high note. The couple shares cheerful updates from the road, celebrating their recent milestone of hitting 100 subscribers, something they're clearly proud of. The vibe is light and warm, filled with playful banter, scenic shots from their trip through Spain and France, and plenty of sweet cameos from their dog Jackson. Their van is clean, their spirits are high, and everything seems to be wrapping up on a perfect note. They chat excitedly about what's next. 2 big trips on the horizon and more UK-based camping content in the meantime. It's the kind of feel-good travel vlog their viewers have come to love until something shifts.
Just want to say thank you to all our new subscribers. We're now at 100 subscribers. Whoop, whoop. Gonna have a drink tonight, guys, because that was the middle of the night I hit 100. Our aim is by the end of, no, I don't know what my aim was actually by the end of this year to get to 100 subscribers, and I'm there halfway through the year. So maybe we could get another 100 subscribers before the end of the year. I look like I got a bit of colour, don't I, guys? Do you think? Right, guys, so we'll catch you on the next one. I'll think the next one for you, maybe reviewing a campsite, a restaurant, because they do food here, so we're going to have a little review of the restaurant. And guys, also, comment below what sort of videos would you like to see from us when we're back in England. Obviously, we'll do some English campsites, but would you like to see some day in the lives of us in the UK? Oh, we've got a visitor. Hello, darling. You come to say hello to the vlog of your waggy tail. Waggy tail. Where's Mr. Waggy tail?
However, partway through the video, the tone abruptly shifts. While driving through France on their way to the Euro tunnel, the couple comes upon a startling sight. A vehicle engulfed in flames at the side of the road. Thick smoke pours into the sky as visible flames lick at what's left of the wreck. They slow down, both shocked and concerned, recording the moment from a safe distance. The heat from the fire is intense, even from inside their van. As they pass, they speculate about the type of vehicle and wonder if anyone was hurt, noting that emergency services haven't yet arrived. A fire truck appears in the distance, struggling to navigate traffic and reach the scene in time, which only adds to the tension. Despite the gravity of the situation, the couple stays calm and respectful, making sure they're safely out of the way before continuing their journey.
Oh, bloody, we've got a bit of a...
That's a car or a lorry or something that's black. Yeah, it's a car there.
I think they've got out. Yeah, he's out of it.
Filming it. Coming off each back pass. We're not on that side of the road today.
Bloody.
Everywhere.
Turn the window up, I
That
think.
was like
You could feel that heat. Whew.
I reckon that was like a rain. It looked like it might have been a Range Rover.
I don't know, I got it on film.
Electrical fire, I reckon.
That's the fire engine there, like, trying to get through.
Yeah. Definitely some heat coming off it.
Yeah, definitely, bloody guys.
It's not driving that way.
Oh, just as we touched back into the French border. Just like that, guys, we're on our way home. Well, to the Euro tunnel.
I was going to say, we're still in France.
We're now going to get the Euro tunnel.
Belgium we're actually in, aren't we?
Yeah, we're in Bray-Dunes or something like that. I'll put a little thing there, you know what I'm like with my
Got a nice beach.
pronunciations. Yeah, I'll put a little clip of the beach from yesterday.
Once they safely cross the French border and enter the Euro tunnel, the vlog gradually returns to its cheerful, upbeat rhythm. Their light-hearted tone and easygoing humor pick back up, bringing viewers along for the final leg of their journey. Despite the earlier shock of witnessing a roadside fire, the couple remains grounded and authentic, sharing laughs, small frustrations, and candid reflections as they go. Their chemistry is natural, their storytelling unfiltered, and their willingness to show both the fun and the unexpected gives the video a relatable charm. This episode captures what van life is really about, not just the freedom and adventure, but the unpredictability that comes with it. It's a reminder that the road can bring joy and awe one moment and sobering reality the next. This happened on January 11th, 2025. This footage comes from Wiggins Wild World, a YouTube channel run by Coin and Victoria, a couple chronicling their off-grid homesteading journey in the Arizona desert. Normally, their videos are upbeat, focusing on land development, alternative gardening methods, and their excitement about living closer to nature. But during one of their early walks around their newly purchased 20-acre plot, something unexpected turned their enthusiasm into unease, possibly even fear. While hiking the terrain to mark out boundaries for the first 5 acres, the two are lighthearted and energetic, soaking in the rugged beauty of the Sonoran landscape. That energy quickly shifts when Coin notices something strange glinting in the dirt: 2 old Mexican peso coins, partially buried. It's an odd thing to find in such a remote area, and neither of them can explain how or why they're there. What starts as a quirky discovery slowly takes on a more ominous tone as the couple begins to wonder what else might be hidden on their land, and whether someone long before them had a reason to leave something behind.
First we found a couple pesos and we were like, that's cute, washed away from
random.
Mexico.
Like I was just walking, I kept finding stones, and then all of a sudden I like looked down and I thought it was an Apple AirTag, and it was
2 pesos.
2 pesos from like 98 and
92.
Between 1992 and 1998, even though it's strange, they initially believed the coins were cleaned using the dry wash method, but things got worse.
So we just found a little kid's backpack, like a kid-sized backpack, which wouldn't like be too alarming or anything, but it's like in the wash. And a little while ago, just randomly walking through here, we found 2 pesos, like 2 peso coins, and we found a little kid's shoe. So I'm like, hopefully somebody's stuff got accidentally washed down from the wash, but I really, really hope we don't find like something gruesome in the area on the new property, because that would suck pretty bad.
Yeah.
You know, because we are so close to the border. Like,
there's a backpack, a shoe, and some monies.
Yeah, I really hope we don't find some person or persons that
We're trying to make their grand escape.
Yeah.
Well, that's the news about that.
Victoria spots a small child-sized Puma backpack, faded, torn, and partially buried under the dirt. The front pocket is shredded in a way that doesn't look like simple wear and tear. Not far from it, they uncover a child's shoe, sun-bleached and breaking apart, but clearly meant for a young kid. What's unsettling is that all 3 items, the coins, the backpack, and the shoe, are clustered in the same area, beneath a large tree and beside what looks like an old pack rat nest. And just when they start trying to make sense of it all, they find something that makes their stomachs drop: a bone.
Over here, right? Yeah, right there. And I'll show you the bone.
So it would be different if it was just the shoe. So we found a little kid's shoe, we found a little kid's backpack, and we found this bone under that tree.
Who knows, though? Sorry, buddy. Are there deer bones?
Hopefully.
Hope so. Doesn't that look like a really clean cut there?
Oh, shit, yeah, it does.
The bone is long, smooth, and slightly curved, possibly a femur. It's small enough to belong to a child, though it's unclear whether it's human or animal. Victoria immediately voices concern, wondering aloud if it could have belonged to a kid. Coin, clearly rattled but trying to stay composed, makes a nervous joke about not wanting to uncover a crime scene on their brand new homestead. Things quickly escalate. They find more bones nearby, one of them showing what looks like a clean cut, the kind made by a blade. The couple begins filming more intentionally, documenting the disturbing discovery while openly acknowledging what it might mean. Their land sits near known migrant routes in the Sonoran Desert, a brutal stretch of terrain where many attempt the journey on foot, facing blistering heat, dehydration, and even the threat of human trafficking. Presence of children's belongings mixed with potentially human remains suggests something more than just a tragic accident. Later, they call the local sheriff's department using a non-emergency line, and a deputy agrees to meet them at the site. As Gwen and Victoria prepare to walk the officer through their findings, the weight of what they've stumbled upon begins to settle. There is no ID, no obvious trail, no resolution, just a haunting mystery and the hope that maybe, just maybe, the bones belong to an animal. What do you think? Kev Goes is a YouTube creator known for documenting his love of the outdoors through hiking, fishing, and solo camping adventures. He often ventures into remote wilderness areas, embracing the quiet and pushing his own limits. In one particular video, he took on a new challenge, spending the night alone in the forest with only a minimalist tarp shelter. What began as a peaceful low-key excursion quickly turned into something far more unsettling. The video opens with Kev biking into a secluded forest and finding a moss-covered clearing perfect for setting up camp. He strings his tarp between two trees and prepares a simple setup before nightfall. Though the dense forest gave off an eerie stillness, the area felt calm and remote, exactly the kind of place he enjoys. The campsite was located just off an ATV trail on public land, and Kev didn't expect to see anyone else. As the temperature began to dip, he opted to skip a late-night coffee to avoid messing with his sleep. Instead, he cooked a quick stir-fry and watched the sun disappear behind the trees. But just as darkness set in, the sound of distant ATV engines broke the silence, marking the first sign that he might not be as alone as he thought. Keep watching.
There are some ATVers not too far away. I don't know if you can hear them or not, but they just started and they started whooping it up a little bit. It's Crown land here, so there's not much I can do about it. I chose kind of an ATV trail. I just didn't expect them to be out in the evening, so hopefully it won't last too long, and hopefully it's gonna deter any bears, because bears are a real thing. It's April right now, and we've had a very warm springtime here in Canada, in Manitoba where I am, and so the bears, most likely some of them were out earlier, and if there's no food for them to find, they'll start looking for human sources. I thought about it while I'm out here. I just cooked with onions and garlic and all that stuff, so you know, it's probably a tantalizing smell for a bear. It is for me anyway.
It seemed like a few riders were still out on the trails, their engines and occasional bursts of laughter echoing faintly through the trees. Kev didn't mind. If anything, the human activity felt like a buffer against any curious wildlife. After finishing a simple meal, he settled in for the night, sliding into his sleeping bag beneath the tarp as the forest grew darker and quieter. The occasional creak of trees and soft rustling of leaves were the only sounds left as the wilderness wrapped around him like a thick, silent blanket. For someone familiar with solo camping, the calm should have been comforted, but instead, the longer the silence stretched, the louder every small noise seemed to grow. He tried brushing it off as normal forest activity, branches swaying, animals moving, but a subtle tension started to build. Then, sometime after midnight, that uneasy stillness shattered. Around 12:30 a.m., Kev was jolted awake by a sudden, high-pitched scream, sharp, human-like, and far too close. It cut through the dark like a knife, turning a quiet night into something far more unsettling. The sound didn't match any animal Kev was familiar with. It wasn't a fox's bark or an owl's call. It was something else entirely, long, drawn out, and filled with a kind of anguish that felt deeply unnatural. Frozen in place, he strained to make sense of it, mind racing to pin down what could be making such a noise. The once calm forest now felt ominous. Each time the scream echoed, it came from a different direction, never repeating the same spot twice. Then came the subtle but unmistakable sound of movement, deliberate, slow, and unnerving. With trembling hands, Kev fumbled for his camera, finally managing to switch it on. It recorded only fragments of the sound, none of which truly captured the dread he was experiencing real time. The screams continued on and off for what felt like forever, before suddenly going silent. But the quiet that followed wasn't peaceful. It felt heavy, suffocating. He stayed alert, clutching his gear, eyes starting through the darkness, unable to sleep. The forest, once a source of solitude, now felt alien and hostile. When the sun finally rose, birds chirped and squirrels stirred, but that eerie tension still lingered. Kev wasted no time breaking camp. Whatever had happened during the night, it wasn't something he wanted to stick around and investigate. For someone seasoned in wilderness camping, it takes a lot to truly shake the nerves. This did. What do you make of it? On May 21st, 2025, a chilling encounter was posted by the YouTube channel Eleanor Grace Adventures, run by solo traveler and content creator Eleanor Grace, who's known for her peaceful explorations across the UK. Her videos typically highlight the quiet beauty of remote places, but this time was different. What began as a tranquil wild swim in a secluded quarry deep in Dartmoor took an unsettling turn. At the start of the video, Eleanor calmly shares her plan for the day, unaware that something was about to shatter the peaceful tone she's known for.
Evening, everyone. You're joining me on the way. Well, we already are on Dartmoor, but we're heading somewhere that I've never been to before, but I really wanted to check out this evening. I was really looking forward to a sunny evening with a potential sunset, and it's just gone incredibly grey. Perfect timing.
And that is how this happened.
We're off. Got my coffee. Where's my mic? Hang on. Okay. Shall I hold this? Shall I put this? Who knows? Let's put it there. Beautiful grey evening in the middle of Dartmoor. I wanted to do an evening hike, and I was looking on my All Trails app for somewhere really nice on Dartmoor. I also wanted to check out the area I'm in for the possibility of doing a wild camp on a tour somewhere, because I've never actually done one like properly before in the actual wild. And Dartmoor, yeah, Dartmoor would be very interesting to say the least. Whilst I was checking out my All Trails app, I came across this place, and it's an old mining quarry, which is literally, now I'm not too sure if it's this one or there. Beautiful hike with old buildings and stuff like that. Getting a bit boggy, but worth it. She could have just avoided it, but no, she goes right through it. People have said that it's a very unusual and cool looking place to go for a wild swim. You know me, right? If there's a very weird or cool or beautiful place for me to take a dip, I'm gonna do it. I've brought the stuff with me in my backpack to do that. It is meant to start raining at some point this evening, so to be honest, if it does, even better. Oh, this is a very cute little stream. This is lovely.
What started as a quiet evening hike through Dartmoor National Park quickly took a turn. Eleanor had spotted an old quarry on her All Trails app and set out to find it, partly to explore, partly to see if it could be a future wild camping site. The goal was simple: locate the hidden spot, take a swim, and head back before dark. The setting was eerily calm. A blanket of gray clouds hung overhead. The land around her was rough and empty, broken only by distant hills and the occasional shape. It felt remote, almost too remote. Following a journey through thick bogs and marshy trails, Eleanor eventually stumbles upon the quarry.
Oh, you have... Oh. You have got to be kidding me. What a hidden gem. Oh, bless him. Right, I'm just going to stand still and let him run. It's quite eerie, actually. Yeah, I don't... Hello? 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 Yeah, I don't think that there is anyone else here, apart from the sheep.
Look.
I really do want to get in there.
I'm gonna go for it.
It's worth it. I get something starts sucking on my leg. As gross as that sounds.
How cold are we talking?
It's not too bad.
Gonna get over there.
It's a little bit cold. It's not too bad though. There are a lot of tadpoles and everything around me and like little lizardy type things. I haven't seen any leeches yet. We're being joined by sheep. I'm gonna have to move my bags just in case they try and eat it.
At first, the experience feels magical. Even with no one else around, Eleanor goes through with her plan, ducking behind some rocks to change and slowly slipping into the icy still water. But that quiet beauty soon gives way to discomfort.
Oh God. The rocks are quite high and jagged. It's not overly deep. So you've got to be careful where you're putting your legs really, or kicking your legs to swim. Oh, this is so nice though. Loads and loads of like planes and military helicopters and stuff above me. There's a really, really weird noise coming from up there. I don't know if someone's wild camping and pumping up something, because that's what I can hear. It sounds like that. Either that or it's extremely loud, heavy panting. God, I hope it's someone wild camping. Anyway, Dartmoor is like a military training base. They do a lot of training around here basically, so I had to check the times for when they were doing that. There's various areas on Dartmoor where you can wild camp, and this falls under one of the legal areas you can do it. Yeah, it was coming from up there. It is pretty eerie when you're on your own. Oh my God, oh God. I can still stand up.
While swimming, she starts to notice a strange sound echoing from the ridgeline above, a rhythmic mechanical noise like something being dragged or pumped. It's hard to tell where it's coming from. At first, she assumes it might just be a wild camper setting up nearby, but the sound keeps going. It repeats, irregular, distant, but always present. It's like heavy breathing or machinery. Either way, it doesn't belong this deep in the wilderness. Still, she tries to shake it off. Lizards dart through the underbrush, and there's no trace of another person. That only makes it feel more off. She even jokes on camera about being watched. Just the usual YouTube banter, until she starts to believe it. As she's changing behind a rock, the sound hasn't faded. It's grown louder. Twilight sets in and her hike back turns into a struggle. The marshy terrain that had seemed passable before now feels like a trap. Mud pulls at her legs. The stream she crossed earlier is hidden by thick reeds, and everything looks unfamiliar. Her boots are soaked. The rocks are slick. For a moment, she's genuinely unsure which direction to go. She hadn't memorized the path in, and now it's working against her. Eventually, she reaches her car, parked near a forested road at the edge of Dartmoor. But even later that night, safe in her father's driveway, she can't shake the feeling from the quarry. The next morning, she records a follow-up. What she felt wasn't just unease. It was something heavier. She says it felt like being watched the entire time, not paranoia, presence, as if something unseen had been following her, hiding among the ruined stone or just beyond the still water. She compares it to a place she swore never to return to, Kennel Vale, another former mining site with a grim history, known for its eerie energy. Both locations, crumbling, lifeless, long abandoned, left her with the exact same feeling, dread, not like a haunted house or a ghost tour, but something more primal, like being surrounded by unseen eyes. Thankfully, she got out when she did, because sometimes, when everything in you says leave, you should listen. What do you think was waiting out there? Rob Call Nature is a YouTube channel that focuses on quiet, immersive outdoor journeys, often set in remote and rugged areas. His content usually blends wilderness skills, solo camping, and peaceful reflection, with the added tension that comes from being completely off-grid. But in a video posted on March 22nd, 2025, things took a darker turn, one that made him question not just the decision to camp alone, but whether he was actually alone at all. Rob explains that he discovered the location while browsing Google Earth in search of new wilderness spots. hidden deep in a Finnish forest, he found a small point marked simply as Viking Tomb. There was only one image and barely any information available, but his curiosity got the better of him. He decided to track it down, spend the night at the site, and film the entire experience. After parking on a desolate logging road, the nearest place to access the tomb, he immediately sensed something wasn't quite right.
That's weird. Why would they do that? That really bothered me. Why would they take pictures of my car? So we have to head due west. When I unpacked my car, there drove a car by. They slowed down pretty much when they saw me. And just now, before I left the road into the woods, they made another round and took a picture of my license plate. Maybe it was the landowner. Maybe they thought I was a poacher.
The car creeps by at a slow pace as if sizing him up. Moments later, it loops around, and this time, the driver appears to snap a photo of his license plate. The encounter leaves Rob uneasy, but he brushes it off, figuring it might have been a landowner or someone just wary of a stranger heading into the woods. What he doesn't realize yet is that this would be the first clue that someone was watching. With his gear in tow, he begins the hike, pushing through thick underbrush and descending into a small valley. He loses his bearings more than once, doubling back and unknowingly walking in circles. At one point, a deer bolts through the trees nearby. Then finally, he stumbles across the tomb.
Well, I think I can see it. Cool. Well, it's plundered, all right. Well, no trophies for me. I wonder how many hundreds of years ago they plundered this place. They could have left a sword for me, or two.
An enormous stone mound rises from the earth, covered in weathered boulders, long since looted, yet still commanding. Tucked deep in the forest near a lake, the site radiates mystery. Rob speculates the Vikings may have once used it as a place of trade or battle, given its access to the Baltic Sea through nearby waterways. As the sun dips low and the air grows colder, he sets up camp right beside the tomb, opting for a hammock under a tarp. The forecast calls for temperatures as low as -4 degrees Celsius, but Rob feels ready. He lays a foam pad beneath his hammock, uses an old wool blanket for insulation, and bundles up with layers of clothing and hand warmers. Outside, the thermometer drops past -5 degrees Celsius, while his shelter clings just above freezing. At first, the night is peaceful. He eats a cold meal, sips iced coffee, and settles in to watch a movie under the tarp, joking that not many people get to enjoy movie night beside a Viking tomb, but that calm doesn't last. By 11 p.m., after nearly 4 hours in the hammock, the cold begins to win. Despite his preparations, he's shivering hard, the chill cutting through every layer. His hands go numb, and though he's not in serious danger, he knows it's time to call it. He reluctantly tears down camp and begins the hike back, but as he walks, a strange unease creeps in, something beyond the cold. He feels like eyes are on him, and when he reaches the road and spots his car, he discovers something that shakes him.
Found her. My princess in shiny armor. Well, someone has been interested in my car. I knew there was something off. These are not my footprints. The left one is mine, and the right one is the visitor in the night. When we headed out, someone took a picture of my car. Well, maybe they're as curious as I am. Well, that's the... let's just get out of here.
On the passenger side of his vehicle, where he hadn't stepped, were fresh, unmistakable footprints. Someone had been there, and it wasn't him. Rob immediately thought back to the car that had driven past earlier, the one that seemed to snap a photo of his license plate. Now it was clear they'd come back while he was out in the forest. Whether it was just curiosity or something more sinister, he couldn't say, but the reality was chilling. Someone had approached his car, possibly circled his camp, in the dead of night. For someone experienced with solo wilderness trips, this felt entirely different. The fear didn't come from legends, ghosts, or the eerie history of the Viking tomb. It came from the simple, unsettling truth that another person had been quietly lurking nearby. That kind of fear is harder to shake. What do you think happened out there? The YouTube channel Psychological is typically all about laid-back IRL fishing streams and quiet outdoor moments. But during one trip near Braunfels, Texas, what started as a peaceful day on the water turned into something far more unsettling. Something that made the creator drop everything, grab his camera, and call the police. The stream began like any other. He had taken his kayak out for a relaxing evening paddle, slowly drifting along the river, enjoying the breeze and the calm. But as he neared the base of a bridge, something broke the usual sounds of chirping birds and moving water. A noise, sharp, chilling, and completely out of place, cut through the air. And from that moment on, everything changed. Take a look.
Those birds freaked out. What the hell is that noise? I'm going over there. I don't know if the stream is working or not yet, but I need to hear whatever the hell is happening over there. Hey, do y'all hear that screaming? Is that something I should be like worried about?
Yeah, there's people under there.
I think my day is about to be ruined. Ugh.
The screaming was sudden, raw, and coming from beneath the bridge, so loud and jarring it cut through the peaceful surroundings like a warning. At first, the kayaker was simply confused, unsure of what he was hearing, but that quickly shifted to deep concern. He began calling out, asking if someone needed help, and although a few people nearby admitted they'd heard it too, none of them seemed willing to step in. That's when he decided to act. If someone was screaming like that, something had to be seriously wrong. But just as he called out again, the sound stopped completely, abruptly, as if someone had been silenced or had suddenly realized they were being heard. The timing felt too perfect, too calculated, and had left a weight in the air that wouldn't go away. Still unsettled, he called emergency services, reporting everything he'd witnessed. Then, climbing out of the kayak and up the embankment to see for himself, he found something that only deepened the unease, disturbing, vague, and without answers.
The hardest way up.
Whoa! Hello? Hello?
Is anyone up here? You see anyone? No?
There were clear signs that someone had been living there, items scattered around what looked like a makeshift shelter, but no one was in sight. When he called out again, there was no response. No sound, no indication that anyone was still nearby. There were no signs of a struggle, nothing to explain the agonizing screams that had rung out just moments earlier. The silence was haunting, and it left him with more questions than answers. Was it someone in the middle of a mental health crisis? Had someone been attacked in silence just before help could arrive? The possibility that someone was harmed or taken just out of view was deeply disturbing. What made it worse was the timing. That eerie silence following the moment he called out, as if whoever was screaming knew they'd been heard. Some suggested the sound might have echoed from a nearby tunnel, but both he and others nearby were certain it came from directly under the bridge. In person, there was no doubt. Yet despite the chilling experience, no missing person reports ever came from the area, and no official updates were released. And maybe that's the most unsettling part of all, how something so alarming could happen and simply fade away without answers. In one of his most unsettling investigations yet, Franco from Franco TV returned to a remote cemetery he had explored before, this time completely alone, under the cover of night. Known for documenting paranormal activity in abandoned and haunted places, Franco often relies on tools like thermal cameras, K2 meters, and night vision. But during this visit, even his gear couldn't fully explain what he encountered. His focus was a child's tomb belonging to someone named Sebastian, a grave he had previously flagged for strange activity. As he approached it again, his thermal camera picked up something chilling, a human-sized dark figure standing motionless near the tomb. When he switched to his regular camera, the shape was gone, invisible to the naked eye, but on thermal, it stayed perfectly still, as if it was watching him. Franco moved in slowly, trying to make sense of what he was seeing, but just as he neared the spot, the figure vanished completely. Unsure whether it had been a person, an animal, or something else entirely, he pressed on, continuing his exploration through the silent, shadowed cemetery. Buckle up, things are about to get intense.
What the fuck is that? I'm actually Hold on, I'm not even at the freaking cemetery area. But I see something dark. Look at that. That's right next to the tomb of, what's his name? I keep wanting to say Ricardo, but, Sebastian. That's Sebastian's tomb. What the fuck is that? Let me make sure there's nothing else here. Hold on, I'm gonna switch to my regular camera, seeing what I could see. Give me 1 second. Right now I switched over to my regular camera, and this is where I see something dark just standing right in front of that kid's tomb. I forgot his name, Sebastian. But there's nothing over there. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom. Let me zoom in. There's nothing there.
Then, from deep within the shadows, Franco began to hear moaning, low, drawn out, and undeniably human. It wasn't the wind, and it didn't resemble any animal call, yet no one was there. He swept the area with both his night vision and thermal camera, picking up strange flickers and capturing unsettling, unexplained audio. Following the direction of the sound, he spotted what looked like a plant crouched in the darkness, but as he stared, uncertainty set in its shape, its position. It looked too much like a figure. Heart pounding, he edged closer, only to find it was just a plant. Still, it sat in the exact spot where the moaning had come from. That alone was enough to spike his anxiety even more.
And there's nothing there. Oh, that was creepy. I just heard a yell just now. Or a moaning. I just heard it from over there on that side. It legit just sounded like a moan. I want to see if I see any shadows with that light. Turning on my IR. There we go. Oh my God. What the hell is that? I'm hoping that's a plant, but it looks like something's right over there. What the hell is that? Looks like something just sitting there. Oh, that's creepy. I think it's a plant. But this is literally where I just heard the moaning coming from.
The most intense moment of the night came when Franco discovered something that stopped him in his tracks. A tomb door, one that had always been firmly shut during previous visits, was now standing open. The grave belonged to someone named Irma. As he cautiously stepped inside, he immediately sensed a shift in the air. It wasn't the smell of decay that hit him, but something strangely familiar and personal, like stepping into a grandparent's home. It felt lived in, as if someone had just been there. Then without warning, the curtain inside the tomb moved, not a gentle sway, but a clear, deliberate pull, as if someone behind it had drawn it back to peek out. Franco froze. There was no breeze, no airflow, and nothing that could have caused it. He shined his flashlight behind the curtain. Nothing. No figure, no presence. Yet the feeling of being watched only grew stronger, settling over him like a weight. Keep watching.
So I have been here like 1,000 times. Not really 1,000, but a couple of times. And I have never seen this door open. I don't know who opened this door, but this is the door of Irma. Whoa, what the f***? This shit just opened. I mean, the curtain just moved. I just heard something and the curtain moved. Holy shit. Something literally just moved the curtain to the right. Right over here. Before we go inside, I want to see if there's anything in the inside. Oh my god, that is creepy. I swear to god this whole curtain moved. I don't know what the moved it. I'm not gonna lie, it smells like old person, like an older person smell. Like there's a person here.
Though he didn't capture any further visual evidence, the emotional impact of the moment was undeniable. Franco described the experience as more than just frightening. It was deeply unsettling on a personal level. Something about the set, the energy in the room, and the deliberate movement of the curtain made it unlike any other tomb he'd explored. While viewers might focus on the curtain as the most disturbing part, for him, it was the overwhelming sense of presence, the unshakable feeling that he had stepped into a space that still belonged to someone, not abandoned, not empty, just occupied.
And I just heard something. I really wish I knew what the heck moved the curtain, though. That was interesting. Look at this. There's a lot of people in here. Alright. This room is the weirdest tomb I've ever seen. So I'm taking a little bit of a break, but I'm kind of like, I feel weird. I feel like I ran into somebody going into that room, just the way it felt like going in there. And I know to you guys probably the scariest part was a curtain moving, but for me the scariest part was the presence, or the it was just the scent of just going in there. Just felt like, it just felt weird. I don't even know how to explain it. That was the most surreal I've ever gotten, going into a place like that. So even though I'm in another tomb right now, I'm still kind of like paranoid from that last tomb with the curtains moving. It's still kind of bothering me. I don't know, I just feel weird. Like weirded out about the whole thing. I've never had something take my vibe or my mood and just brought it down. But yeah, I just wanted to get the hell out of there as soon as I could.
Even after leaving the tomb, Franco admitted he felt completely drained, emotionally and physically. He tried to keep filming, exploring nearby mausoleums and dark corridors, but the atmosphere had changed. The sense of curiosity was gone, replaced by a quiet, lingering unease. He later recalled that during a previous visit to the same site, a viewer had pointed out something strange in his footage, a white figure passing by the tomb door, something he hadn't noticed in the moment. Curious, he went back to review the clip, and sure enough, it was there, pale, fleeting shape, moving just before the camera shifted, brief, almost imperceptible, but unmistakably there.
Temperature is dropping here, though, significantly. Sorry if you guys are hearing wind noise. I don't have my dead cat on my mic. But this is the other tomb. It's randomly getting super windy now. Hello? Do you mind if I come to potty? I just want to explore. Don't mean anything wrong or bad. Just exploring the location. My name is Frank. Is it okay that I can be in here? Oh, by the way, before I continue, the last video that I did here, I was pointing the light this way, and then right before I turned the camera over here, you could see what looks like someone passing by the door on my second video. Somebody pointed it out and I went checking it out, and holy shit, you do. Like, I don't know if you could see it. Let me turn off my light. But right over here is where you see something white kind of go by. But I don't know. I didn't see it. I didn't even see it while editing. Someone had let me know. But I'll show you a quick clip of it right now. Looks like something you would see in a horror movie. You have all the tombs here.
In the last moments of the video, Franco reflects on how this investigation stood apart from the rest. While the technical evidence, thermal anomalies, unexplained noises, and strange movement was compelling on its own, it was the emotional and sensory weight of the experience that truly stayed with him. The smell of a person who wasn't there, the feeling of being watched, and the curtain shifting as if someone had pulled it back. All of it pointed to something more tangible than a typical haunting. Whether it was a spirit tied to the tomb, a lingering imprint of past energy, or something entirely beyond explanation, Franco didn't leave with the answers he came for. What he did leave was a chilling certainty. Something had been there with him, still present, still watching. What do you think really happened that night? On June 26th, 2025, Fuzzy Dog Productions released what started as another one of their signature travel vlogs, full of lighthearted moments, playful dogs, good music, and the promise of a relaxing camping trip. This time, they were headed to Sweetwater Campground in Brewster, Massachusetts. But what began as a typical adventure quickly took a strange and unexpected turn. The couple set out around 7 p.m., hoping to make the 3-hour drive to Cape Cod and wake up at the site, ready to enjoy the outdoors. On paper, it was the perfect plan. In reality, navigating the campground in the dark proved tricky. With narrow roads, poor signage, and one wrong turn after another, they found themselves in the wrong part of the site before eventually locating their designated spot. A bit frazzled, but still in good spirits, they set up camp, unaware of the strange events the night had in store.
Coming in here was no joke. The roads were really narrow. The signage is pretty poor, especially at night. I mean, that's kind of our choice though. I mean, we found it, but we had to do this huge loop through the C section where we were supposed to be in the A section, and the A section was just honestly a quick left that we missed. So user error as always. I mean, what are you gonna do? But we're here, we made it, started a fire, gonna chill out. So we really drove 2.5, almost 3 hours to find lobster rolls. And that's what we're going after. We're looking forward to it tomorrow. It's gonna be a great day.
The site itself was exactly what they'd hoped for, wooded, peaceful, and remote enough to feel like a real escape. After building a fire and settling in, the evening unfolded just as planned, with laughter, music, and the comfort being out in nature. But the next morning brought an unsettling discovery. Around 5 a.m., while everyone was still asleep, someone had quietly entered their campsite and gone through their belongings. At first, the signs were subtle. Nothing appeared obviously disturbed. Then they noticed the liquor. All their premium bottles were gone. In their place sat off-brand alcohol they didn't recognize. This wasn't just a theft. It was a deliberate swap. Whoever did it hadn't acted on impulse. They came prepared, bringing cheaper replacements to cover their tracks. The realization was unnerving. Someone had been close enough, quiet enough, and bold enough to carry out a planned exchange while they slept just feet away.
You might have taken more, I don't know.
Wow.
That's crazy. We got robbed.
Why didn't you take the Annie's mac and cheese?
Is this the Drambuie thing? I bet it is, right? Morning. We had a guy walk through here probably about 5 in the morning. The dog was starting to bark. We don't know how long he was here, and he stole all our booze. Literally went through the back of Luna, took the Drambuie for the recommended drink, and just kept walking. Wow, lesson learned. Not only did he take our good stuff, he left us stuff. We're definitely a little shocked that this guy went through all of our stuff. This lady here, Mrs. Fuzzy Dog, she's just pissed.
Their mood quickly shifted from relaxed to uneasy. There were no signs of forced entry, no damage, and no real clues. Just this strange swap of liquor bottles. What disturbed them most wasn't the loss, but the thought that someone had been that close for who knows how long, without ever being seen or heard. Even their dog's early morning bark, something they'd brushed off at the time, now felt like a warning they hadn't understood. Still, they chose to push forward with their trip, determined not to let the strange encounter ruin everything. They carried on and even managed to have some fun, launching into an informal hunt for the best lobster roll on the Cape. The food, rich and comforting, became a welcome distraction, offering a sense of normalcy in contrast to the eerie events of the night before.
Yes. We are leaving this place. This place is beautiful. It's huge. It's heavily wooded, so we feel like we're in the woods, which is really exciting, especially after the morning. But we're gonna forget about that morning. We're gonna go get lobster rolls. We're gonna go get booze. I don't know. We're gonna go find an adventure. Get these dogs for a long walk, probably at one of the state parks out here on the Cape. Let's go.
Cheers. It's pretty good. Hi, Haggerty.
We are still on the elusive hunt to try to get or restock our booze for the recommended drink.
They had neither. The at least the first place used to have it. This guy didn't. He was like, "No, we don't do that."
Back at the campground, the strange liquor swap still weighed on their minds. Who had come into their sight? Why go through the trouble of replacing the bottles instead of just taking them? And what if someone had woken up while it was happening? These unanswered questions stirred an uneasy feeling that lingered well into the evening, a quiet discomfort that came with knowing their space had been invaded while they slept. The video closes with a couple retreating to their camper for the night, unable to mix their usual drinks, but making do with what they had. It's a subtle, unsettling reminder that even in the most peaceful settings, the unexpected can still find you. Sweetwater Campground may have offered quiet beauty, but this trip ended with more questions than closure, in a story they won't soon forget. In September 2018, a YouTuber named Colin, known for his urban exploration channel, The Bearded Explorer, documented one of his most unsettling investigations to date. His destination was Westbury House, an abandoned 18th century mansion tucked away in Hampshire, England. Once a grand private estate, the building had later been repurposed as a nursing home during the 1980s. But behind its elegant facade lay a far more disturbing history. Reports of abuse and serious mistreatment by staff eventually led to the facility's permanent closure in 2016. Since then, the mansion had stood empty, earning a growing reputation as one of the most haunted places in the region. Colin, joined by his friend Liv, arrived at the property late at night. Their goal, as with many other videos, was to capture the eerie atmosphere and see what, if anything, lingered inside. The interior was what you'd expect from a long-abandoned estate: scattered furniture, piles of debris, and clear signs that squatters had once taken shelter there. Still, for a building left to decay, its bones remained surprisingly intact. The early part of their exploration was quiet, almost routine, as they moved carefully through the empty corridors. But before long, something shifted and the night took a darker turn.
How's it going, guys, and welcome back to Westbury House. And me and Lee have decided to come here at night time because I told them all the interesting things that happened to me here the other day. We've decided to come here at night and just see if we can catch anything strange, paranormal. I'm not really the biggest believer in ghosts, but after my experience here the other day, it's left me with an open mind. So, yeah, we've just come here to have a little wander around and just see if by chance we do see or catch anything on camera. Should we go upstairs first?
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive, this staircase, isn't it?
Yeah.
Little chandelier up here as well, that.
Brilliant.
Which way should we go? God. This is proper freaky. Let's go this way. That door there's locked, so we can't go any further now. We'll have to go up and over. I never noticed that last time.
While exploring one of the rooms, Colin and Liv were startled by the unmistakable sound of a xylophone being played, despite neither of them having touched it. When they first entered the room, the xylophone had been sitting untouched on a table. Liv had struck a note earlier, then left the mallet placed neatly in the center. but now it had been moved, shifted to a different position. With no clear explanation, it was a small but undeniable sign that something or someone had interacted with it while they were gone. Uneasy but curious, they continued exploring. As they reached the upper floor, the tension thickened. Unexplained noises echoed through the mansion, soft knocks, distant thumps, and the faint sound of movement coming from rooms they hadn't entered. They still hadn't seen anyone, but the building felt alive with something unseen.
Shh. Did you hear that? Where is I? Sounded like that fucking xylophone. Where was it? Right, just in this room here. Oh, open it. It's a snooker table and a huge bookcase. God, it's so much different in here at night time.
I can't believe you can't hear anything.
I know. It's not so bad in the daytime, though. Night time, though. Don't know why. Here is completely different. Cues there, look ready to go. This room's interesting, though. Look at all the stuff there. And that fireplace as well. That fireplace is absolutely brilliant.
What the
Later, after watching the video again, Colin saw something unsettling that he had missed at the time. The camera momentarily caught what appeared to be a man's head peering out from an open doorway as he was moving along a hallway. During their exploration, neither he nor Liv had seen anyone, and they never identified the person. All they were doing was observing, still, quiet. Shortly thereafter, the situation erupted once more. A loud, violent bang reverberated from behind a locked door they had just passed as they approached the end of the hallway, a room that was off limits to anyone. They were positive there were no other explorers within, and the door was totally unreachable from their side. It was an unmistakable sound, abrupt, powerful, and all too familiar. Colin would subsequently disclose that it was the same sound emanating from the same location that he had heard on a prior solitary visit to the estate.
Donald Duck. I keep hearing that banging. Can you hear that banging? I think it's outside. Oh, it's giving me the shits. I really don't like it in here. Have a look in that room at the end. See, that's what I heard the other day. That's what I heard the other day. That door is locked. There's nothing out there. That is where we've just come from. That is the exact same noise I heard the other day.
Fuck that.
Can you hear that?
At that point, Colin and Liv had seen enough. The strange chain of events, the shifted xylophone mallet, the eerie sounds, the unidentified man silently peeking from a doorway, and the final violent bang from behind a locked door left no doubt in their minds. They weren't alone. Some have speculated the man may have been secretly living inside the mansion. Maybe he played the xylophone to scare them off, watched them quietly when that didn't work, and finally resorted to banging on the locked door as a last attempt to drive them out. His presence had started as subtle, grew bolder with every moment he stayed hidden. Colin and Liv made it out safely, but they never learned who the man was, or how long he'd been in the house before they arrived, or if he ever left. What do you make of this? On June 23, 2025, Off the Walls After Hours returned with a long-awaited upload that quickly shifted from nostalgic to unnerving. The crew revisited an abandoned trestle bridge hidden deep in the woods, a location they'd explored in a previous video, where unexplained activity had left a lasting impression. From the moment they arrived, the tension was palpable. Within minutes, a rock suddenly sparked on the tracks near one of the members, catching them completely off guard and setting a tone of confusion and unease. Led by their usual trio, the team pushed forward into the forest, retracing their old route. But something felt off. The trails they once knew were now overgrown. Landmarks they remembered had shifted or vanished, and the silence, thick, heavy, and unnatural, pressed in around them. What began as a return to familiar ground quickly turned into one of the eeriest nights they'd ever captured on camera.
All right, guys, we made it to the woods. Keegan's running in full speed. He's ready to find out what was in the woods. Oh yeah, it's been a while since we've been here, bro. There's this trail still, yeah. Oh yeah. And then there's just like a center part right here. That's like no grass.
Someone had 10 fish. Was it like this last year? This green?
I don't know. We came here so late last year.
It's like so different.
It is.
It doesn't look like anything.
The paint and shit looks like it's like starting to get covered. That's weird.
This shit looks like it's been like abandoned.
Yeah, it's been a while. Interesting. So we were just sitting here discussing, because it's pretty quiet. Not crickets, no birds, it's spring, which is really weird, but there's no noise. We hear ringing in the distance. Don't know what that is, but Tony was saying that, what were you saying again?
It's very quiet around us. People say that it's like something scary in the area, like a predator.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna go down to the trestle and check that out. Hopefully we are good.
Despite it being spring, the woods were eerily silent. No bird song, no insects, none of the usual nighttime noises. That unnatural stillness seemed to mark the beginning of a string of increasingly disturbing events. As the team explored the area around the trestle bridge, they encountered unusually high water levels that made the terrain difficult to cross. At one point, one of the members twisted his ankle, forcing the group to stop and reassess their plan. But as they rested, quiet was broken by a new kind of tension, clear, deliberate footsteps, and the sound of something or someone moving through the underbrush nearby. The noises weren't random. They circled the group, always staying just beyond the reach of their flashlights, never visible, but impossible to ignore.
Jordan just twisted his ankle right in that area.
Oh, I need to tighten this. Oh, that hurts so bad. Cut the lights. Put them on low if anything.
I have no low on this, I don't think.
That hurts so bad, guys.
He's like, we might need to call it a night, boys.
Then you have to walk back.
We do. Dude, there's something right there. Something right there, though. It was right that way. It was like a rock.
As they continued to cross the bridge and venture deeper into the woods, the strange activity escalated. A large metal can suddenly rolled across the tracks, seemingly out of nowhere. No end, no visible source. Moments later, a sharp metallic clanging echoed from somewhere in the distance. The team froze, flashlights scanning the darkness, but every time they tried to trace the sounds, there was nothing. No movement, no sign of anyone nearby. Later in the night, they returned to a location tied to a past encounter, an area where they had previously heard loud, unexplained noises. This time, they found something new, a discarded rope, a single glove, and unfamiliar objects scattered across the ground, none of which had been there before. As they stood there, trying to make sense of it, one of the crew members suddenly jumped back. A rock had slammed into the metal track beside him, hard enough to spark on impact. It hadn't tumbled down naturally. It had been hurled with force and precision. In that moment, the question of whether they were alone was answered.
Dude, what the a rock just sparked in front of my face.
You're tripping, dude.
Dude.
No, I told you. It sounded like something hit the...
I kid you not, a rock literally hit the track and sparked.
Right next to each other, literally.
Yo.
That was weird. Because I was coming towards us fast as...
Tony, pull your phone out so you can record. This might die. I want to get everything on footage right now. What the... Dude. Guys.
It got thrown at us.
Dude, it got... No. It was like right in front of me, dog. It hit the track and it lit up like a spark. Okay, let's be real and stop for a second. Because...
This is very first...
What the threw that at us?
The first one was...
If y'all are not playing...
I swear to God I didn't throw shit. Because literally me and Keegan were walking
dude,
right next to
I
each
know,
other.
I like want to... Like, I know it wasn't you guys, but I want to believe it was you guys.
The second one was
because
me, 'cause it was
I
a big
literally
rock.
saw it come into my eyesight. I kind of want to sit here for a minute.
Things escalated fast. Just moments after the first rock hit, a second one came flying in, this time from a different direction, confirming their suspicion that whatever or whoever was out there wasn't alone. Panic started to set in. Their flashlights began to dim, camera batteries drained without explanation, and the overwhelming silence of the forest only amplified the fear creeping in. Then came something entirely new, a whistle, distant but deliberate, echoing faintly through the trees. It wasn't random, it repeated, as if in direct response to their presence. The team tried whistling back, hoping for some kind of interaction, but were met with dead silence, followed by the sound of movement in the brush nearby. That was enough. With nerves fraying and no clear answers, the group made the call to turn back, cutting the investigation short and leaving behind more questions than they'd come with.
The whistle? Yeah. I heard it.
No, you didn't.
I did. It came from right in there.
Dude, that whistle...
Shut up.
That's weird, dude.
Shut up.
That whistle, dude. Hey, let's pause it right here. Jordan, come here. Let's whistle. See what happens. Who's got a lot? Tony, you got a lot of whistle? No. Nothing. Alright, let's try one more time.
Despite the chaos of the night, nothing could be definitively explained. There were no signs of other people in the area, no footprints, no clear source for the thrown objects, or the eerie sounds that had followed them through the woods. By the end of the video, no solid answers had surfaced, but they weren't needed. The atmosphere spoke volumes. The dread, the silence, the feeling of being watched. It all told the story louder than any explanation ever could. Nomad Unknown is a solo female traveler who shares her car camping and hiking adventures from across the country. Her content is raw, honest, and offers a genuine look at the highs and lows of van life, solo travel, and off-grid living. Most of the time, her journeys are peaceful, sometimes even empowering or calming. But during one trip along the Wild Azalea Trail in Louisiana's Kisatchie National Forest, things took a dark and unexpected turn.
Out here hiking is in the Kisatchie National Forest in Louisiana. And it's called the Wild Azalea Trail, and it's arguably the best trail in Louisiana. So, pretty excited. It should also be the season for azaleas. So hopefully we'll get to see some beautiful azaleas in bloom and just restore my mental health.
She set out like she usually does, excited for a simple overnight camp to clear her head and reset her mental health. The forest felt calm, birds chirped overhead, and wild azaleas were in full bloom along the trail. Not long into the hike, she crossed paths with 3 young men who were out backpacking. A little further on, she spotted another man, this one alone, carrying nothing but a water bottle. Initially, nothing about him seemed too unusual, but then she saw him again.
Out started on the trail now, It's pretty quiet out here. It's lovely with the birds singing, and every now and then the wind comes through. When I was still getting ready at the trailhead, I encountered 3 young men who are out backpacking on this trail as well, and they let me know that a couple of them had done this trail before.
The first time she saw him was at the trailhead, right where she'd parked her car. She was still getting her gear together when he appeared out of nowhere, looked her way, then quickly turned and walked back down the trail. Later, she spotted him again, this time approaching from behind, still carrying nothing but that same water bottle. No backpack, no gear, nothing that suggested he was actually out for a hike. He startled her. She stepped aside and he passed with a soft, quiet hi before continuing down the path. As she hiked deeper into the woods, things began to click. She'd now seen this man 4 different times, and something about him wasn't right. Not just how often he showed up, but his energy. It was a feeling in her gut, and it wouldn't go away.
You ever just come across somebody and the energy is just off? That is what's been happening to me a little bit today. I'm about 3 miles in and I found this spot that I would really love to camp. But just as I was getting here, I saw somebody that I've seen twice already today. The first time I saw him, he only had a water bottle in his hand, no backpack or anything. And I saw him at the trailhead where I parked my car as I was still pulling things out of my car. And at that point, as soon as he saw me, he sort of turned around and headed back onto the trail. I've seen him 4 times, I just realized. And then I saw him as I was hiking. I'd started with my pack up the trail, and he came from behind me, still with just the water bottle. And I didn't hear him at first, but it kind of startled me a little bit. So I moved over to let him go past, and that time was the first time I said, "Oh, hello." And he just said hi. The next time I saw him, he was at a crossroads, and it looked like he was loading things into his car to leave. But I guess he was pulling a backpack out, because even though I didn't say anything to him at that point.
She later came across a quiet clearing near a bridge, open, peaceful, and just remote enough to feel like a good place to set up camp. But then, just across the trail, she noticed a second spot, more hidden, slightly off the path, and offering more privacy. As she walked toward it, something caught her eye. A trail camera, discreetly mounted and easy to miss. At first, she assumed it was for wildlife or part of a research project, but as she got closer, her stomach dropped. The camera wasn't pointed at a game trail or the woods. It was aimed directly at the first clearing, where her backpack still sat. That's when the dread set in. As she put it, strike 1 was a weird vibe. Strike 2 was a camera locked on my camp. I'm not waiting for strike 3.
Area here, the clearing, and I thought, you know what, that's a bit more hidden from trail. I might feel more comfortable and secure over there, so I came over. Why is there a trail cam pointing to that campsite? I don't really know how those things work. Maybe it's not visible on the camera, but like, what else is it pointing at? Okay. What the heck? Like, here's the trail cam. What is it pointing at? Putting my camera right behind. My backpack is right there. That's where I was going to camp. Like, that's an established campsite. Looks like this one is too. But what the heck is going on here? First, weird energy. Second, a trail cam pointed at a campsite? Oh, I think 1 strike, 2 strike. I gotta get out of here before 3 strikes and I'm out.
It was in that moment that everything clicked. The man, his repeated appearances, the way he first showed up with just a water bottle and later reappeared wearing a backpack. The pieces started to fall in place. Had he followed her, waited until she was distracted filming the wild azaleas to sneak back and set up that trail cam? She couldn't prove it, but the timing, the placement, and his behavior were too precise to brush off. This wasn't just a bad feeling or a case of overthinking. This was a woman, alone in the woods being watched by someone who had no reason to be there, and who somehow knew exactly where she was and where she intended to spend the night.
Or is that weird? Trail cam. Right there. Camp. Right there. I'm standing at my pack and I am looking, and I cannot for the life of me see it over there. I mean, camo, right? Very effective. I'm out of here. So I went from campsite 1 over to campsite 2, just kind of an exploratory thing. And the reason it actually took me a little while to decide to go over there is because there were like clear obstructions in the path, like logs covering the path. A lot of time that might be set up by Forest Service to say like, this is not a trail, don't go down here. I just felt like I needed to go explore it. There was poison ivy I had to avoid. It's not too dense where I couldn't avoid it, and yeah, I had to go over a couple of logs and stuff like that, but it's almost like they don't want somebody going over there, right? But is it because they don't want somebody to discover the camera? Remember the guys I told you about that passed by the campsite earlier? They're matching, there's 4 men, they're all wearing matching red shirts.
She did the smart thing, packed up her gear, turned around, and left. There was no confrontation, no chase, no dramatic ending, and that's exactly what makes the story so unsettling. She trusted her instincts and got out before things could escalate. But the question lingers. What if she hadn't? What if she'd ignored the signs, brushed off the unease, and stayed just one more night? What do you think would have transpired then? In one of the most disturbing solo explorations of 2025, Indonesian YouTuber Debbie Pertanti returned with a chilling visit to the infamous Hutan Pesugihan, a forest wrapped in dark legends and steeped in supernatural folklore, inspired by fellow explorers Muskasid and Bongin, both of whom had previously documented disturbing events in the area. Debbie set out to spend the night in the exact same location where those encounters had occurred. Her plan was simple: set up a hammock, cook a basic meal, and explore the surrounding woods. But things began to unravel almost immediately. Her arrival was delayed after she got lost searching for the only landmark described by others, a white sack hanging from a tree. Locals often mistake it for a pokha, a ghost bound in traditional funeral cloth, and its appearance alone is enough to send many running. For Debbie, it marked the beginning of a night she wouldn't forget, one filled with fear, confusion, and an overwhelming sense that she was not alone.
Oke, teman-teman, ini saya berada di hutan pesugihan ya teman-teman, dimana saya nonton channelnya Mas Gesit dan Bang Ivan. Dan aduh, saya udah parno duluan ini. Saya nyampe sini kemalaman teman-teman, karena saya nanya-nanya sama Mas Gesit. Dan saya kayaknya, aduh, ini mau buka ini aja teman-teman, hammock.
Despite warnings from locals and other explorers, Debbie pressed on and eventually found the eerie white sack hanging from a tree, the marker that signaled the heart of Hutan Pesugihan's haunted legend. Exhausted but resolute, she set up camp directly in front of it, preparing a modest meal of rice and sour vegetable soup. As dusk settled over the forest, the rustling in the trees began almost immediately. At first, she chalked it up to monkeys or typical forest wildlife, but as night deepened, the sounds grew more unsettling. Footsteps that didn't quite fit the rhythm of animals, and soft, distant noises that began to resemble whispering or faint crying. Even tucked into her hammock, trying to sleep, she couldn't escape the feeling that something was nearby, watching, moving just beyond the reach of her lantern light.
hal yang paling mengerikan di hutan adalah binatang, teman-teman.
Around 11 p.m., the night took a terrifying turn. Debbie was abruptly jolted awake by the sensation of something heavy dropping onto her hammock, so forceful it caused her to fall out. Disoriented and rattled, she quickly gathered her things, realizing she could no longer risk staying exposed in the open. Determined to continue, she shifted to exploration mode, stepping into the darkness with her flashlight in hand. Her voice could be heard softly reciting Islamic prayers and protective chants, a clear attempt to steady her nerves. The beam of her flashlight trembled as she moved deeper into the forest, capturing flickers of movement, dense thickets, and shadowy figures in the distance. Adding to the unease, she described a sudden and dramatic drop in temperature, from suffocating heat to an almost freezing chill, a shift often tied to paranormal experience and local folklore.
Oke, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Jangan marah ya teman-teman kalau misalnya eksplornya nggak lama, karena saya udah benar-benar takut. Bismillah. Ini sampai makanan saya aja saya gantung ini di tas teman-teman karena belum sempat bersihin. Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum. Saha. Ih, kayak ada yang ngikutin. Ih, siapa?
What followed was a cascade of unnerving moments that steadily broke down Debbie's composure. She began to sense that she was being followed. Branches snapped nearby, distant voices echoed faintly through the trees, and an oppressive heaviness in the air seemed to cling to her every step. The deeper she went, the more visibly shaken she became. Multiple times she appeared on the verge of breaking down, whispering how even Muskasit and Bong, who had braved the forest as a duo, had described the fear here as Lu Bayasa, meaning extraordinary in local terms. It was a fear that surpassed normal explanation. Finally, Debbie reached her limit. She called off the exploration, her nerves fraying after hearing what she could only describe as SHOUTOUT, ghostly voices calling back and forth through the darkness. With her flashlight beginning to fail and every instinct screaming at her to leave, she made her way back through the dense undergrowth, whispering pleas into the night, asking that nothing follow her home.
Coba ya kita lihat ya. Aduh. Tuh, ada batang pohon nih. Jangan ada yang ikut. Jangan ada yang ikut. Saya mau pulang. Tolong. Udah. Jangan ada yang ikut. Tolong. Ya Allah. Ini udah bener-bener gak fokus nih jalan nih.
Back at the small hut near the edge of the forest, Debbie finally allowed herself a moment to breathe. Visibly shaken and emotionally drained, she made the decision to spend the rest of the night indoors, away from the overwhelming presence she had felt in the woods. In her closing remarks, she thanked her viewers, but admitted she was at a loss for words. What had started as a personal challenge, a test of bravery, had turned into a deeply unsettling ordeal she wouldn't soon forget. Her honesty throughout the video, from cautious determination to quiet, escalating fear, struck a chord with viewers. There were no over-the-top reactions, no forced drama, just raw human vulnerability. Debbie's calm but genuine dread gave a sobering weight to the legends of Hutan Pesugian. The tension of the environment, the unexplained sounds, and the deep-rooted cultural fear of spirits came together to create an experience that felt undeniably real and terrifying in its simplicity.
Oke, teman-teman. Luar biasa banget, dan ini
Saya udah lagi jalan untuk ke warung teman-teman. Kayaknya saya mau tidur di warung aja teman-teman. Karena udah bener-bener nggak sanggup banget. Luar biasa terornya. Ya udah, ketemu saya pada saat di warung ya teman-teman. Biar saya fokus jalannya, biar bisa cepet. Oke, mantap. Oke, teman-teman, alhamdulillah saya udah di warung dan kayaknya saya mau lanjut tidur di sini aja, teman-teman. Udah, saya nggak bisa berkata apa-apa lagi, teman-teman. Terima kasih banyak supportnya. Selalu nungguin video saya, teman-teman, dan semoga teman-teman sehat-sehat selalu ya. Amin. Oke, saya tutup video ini teman-teman. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, teman.
In conclusion, what stays with you isn't just the fear of ghosts. It's the suffocating atmosphere of a place where folklore and fear seem to bleed into each other. Debbie's night in Hutan Pisugian wasn't just another piece of content. It felt like a quiet warning. Not every place is meant to be explored. Not every shadow wants to be seen. What do you think really happened out there? Let me know. In June 2019, paranormal YouTuber Lou Rock set out on a solo challenge that led him deep into a place marked by tragedy. The location was a wooded stretch off Fox Road in Massachusetts, a site locals knew for one chilling reason. Nearly 30 years earlier, a teenage girl named Tammy Lind had vanished there. Her remains were eventually discovered in those same woods, but her case remains unsolved to this day. Lou's plan was simple: spend 30 minutes alone in the area with just a flashlight, a spirit box, and a camera to capture any paranormal activity. But by the time his challenge was over, he wasn't just fleeing from the unknown, he was running from something terrifyingly real.
What is up, guys? It is your boy Lou Rock, and I'm about to do something totally crazy. I'm here on Fox Road. You can see it right here. I'm here on Fox Road, and I am going to do a 30-minute challenge by myself in these woods. It's totally crazy. Every time I've come here with people, I've been scared out of my mind. So to do this all by myself is totally crazy. I got no weapons on me, no way to defend myself other than my hands. This is pretty stupid, but we're gonna do this. Here we go, guys. Here we go, Fox Road. Where her body was found. Oh, wow. Where's my little memorial thing to her? It's right here. What the heck? Dude. Oh, here it is. See, I left it standing up last time. I actually heard her ring that bell before doing a spirit box session. It was pretty crazy.
Lou's session began with a silent stroll into the forest, heading straight to the spot where Tammy Lynn's remains had once been found. He had set up a small memorial there, flowers, a bell, and a handwritten tribute in her honor. From the very beginning, there was a strange tension in the air, a heaviness that seemed to cling to the trees around him. He started filming and turned on his spirit box, trying to reach out to whatever might be lingering in the area. At first, everything felt normal, routine even, just like his other investigations. But then he switched off his flashlight, allowing the pitch black woods to fully surround him. And in that moment, the energy changed.
Crazy. Oh, whoa, the ants are all over the flower. Wonder why. Look at all those ants. It's not a real flower, guys, so it's weird that the ants are enjoying it so much. Tammy, can you ring this bell for me? I'm gonna turn off the lights, guys. Whoa, whoa! I can't believe it even lit up like that. Wow. Whoa. What the hell was that? Guys, I keep hearing something really close to me in the woods. I hear somebody, it sounds like somebody's walking around over there. What the hell is that? Oh my God, it's freaking me out, guys. I'm gonna head over to the path where, like a lot of kids, that's actually where the jogger was jogging when he found her body.
Lou chalked it up to small animals, twigs snapping, brush rustling, the usual sounds of the woods. But something felt off. The movements were too steady, too heavy, too intentional to dismiss. The footsteps weren't random. They were circling him. Still trying to hold his ground, he switched the spirit box back on and began asking questions. Almost immediately, it responded. Names, flipped phrases, bursts of static that quickly turned sharper, louder, and more aggressive. The atmosphere thickened. The energy in the air grew heavier by the second. Whatever was out there wasn't retreating. The sounds were only getting closer.
Overgrown. Guys, this is the area that I caught one of the best catches in my whole YouTube career. I caught a shadow figure in the daytime. Like right over there is where I was hearing, it sounded like somebody else was walking in the woods right when I was looking at the little shrine that I left her. I'm gonna pull out the spirit box, so just give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, guys. Guys, I go into my bag and my box was already turned on. That's crazy. All right, we're gonna sit right here. Hello? What the hell? Tammy. Guys, I keep freaking hearing something walking over there. Hello?
While scanning the area, Lou spotted something strange, a spray-painted message on a nearby tree. It was fresh, bright, and completely out of place in the middle of nowhere. Curious, he stepped closer to get a better look. That's when the footsteps returned, faster now, circling with more urgency. He swung his flashlight around, scanning the woods, but saw nothing. Then it happened. A voice, clear, audible, and coming from somewhere in the darkness, cut through the silence. It wasn't from the spirit box, and it wasn't a radio signal. This was someone actually speaking out loud nearby. And in that instant, everything changed.
This tree right here, there's like writing on it. It actually says Autobots. Autobots. I'm trying to move the... Tammy, is there something about this tree that will help us find the kill? Whoa. What the hell was that? Guys, I don't know what the hell is going on. Whoa! Guys, I'm hearing stuff all around me. Tammy, can you come and talk with me, please? Guys, I'm hearing something over there in the woods. There's something over there, guys. Dude, oh my God. Guys, I'm here all by myself. I don't even know what the hell to do. Hello?
In that moment, Lou realized he might not be dealing with something paranormal at all. Someone was actually out there, hiding just beyond the edge of his flashlight's reach. His instincts kicked in. He began to slowly back away, trying to stay calm, trying not to make a sound. Then a sharp crack shattered the silence. A gunshot. Lou froze. Seconds later, another rang out. He didn't know if the shots were meant to scare him, threaten him, or something far more dangerous. Whatever this was, it was no longer just eerie. The threat was real and getting closer.
Guys, I keep hearing stuff in the freaking woods. I think my spirit box is... Oh my gosh. Hello? Tammy, say the names of the people that were with you. What the heck? Whoa, whoa, whoa! Guys, it sounded like something was running right behind me right there.
Are you okay?
It said I'll be okay. Are you kidding me? Guys, that doesn't look old. And that's not mine. Is there somebody out here? Guys, I am freaking out. There's somebody out here with me, I swear. I keep hearing footsteps all around me. Something just flew over to that area over there. Hello? What the was that?
As Lou tried to make his way out of the woods, he spotted something that made his blood run cold. A human silhouette, standing still, watching. He called out, hoping to scare them off or at least get a response, but the figure stayed silent and moved closer. Panic surged through him. He scrambled to gather his gear, hands trembling so badly he bent the antenna on his spirit box. Still filming, still trying to document everything, the camera now captured something very different. Raw fear. This wasn't an investigation anymore. Lou was trying to escape, but even as he reached the edge of the woods, the danger then let up. Parked along the road was a car with its headlights off, just sitting there. He couldn't see who was inside. Then eerily, children's voices echoed nearby, laughing, shouting, followed by a sudden piercing gunshot.
I don't know what to do. I just heard a girl. I just heard a girl. I swear I just heard a girl, guys. Oh my God. Oh man. Oh guys. Oh my God. This is where the freaking gunshots went off. Oh my gosh. I gotta get down. I gotta get down. Holy crap. What the fuck? Alright, we're getting the hell out of here. Oh. Holy crap. Oh my God, there's somebody behind me, guys. Yo, you better stay away from me. Behind me, guys. Yo, you better stay away from me.
Lou never looked back. He later spoke of the overwhelming sense that something or someone was watching him from the trees. He'd heard voices in the dark, and at one point, what sounded like a young girl quietly crying. The spirit box had whispered names, some linked to Tammy Lynn, but none of that mattered anymore. In that moment, the ghost hunt was over. Survival was the only goal, because if someone had truly been out there, tracking his every move, firing off warning shots, silently observing from the shadows, then this place wasn't just haunted, it was a trap, and without realizing it, Lou had stepped right into it. Uploaded on May 18th, 2025, this next video comes from the YouTube channel Love Sundays, hosted by a solo British van lifer known for his laid-back but practical style. His content usually centers on stealth camping, simple cooking inside his self-built camper van, and exploring the lesser-seen corners of the UK countryside. But what began as another charming, low-key overnight adventure quickly took a turn for the unsettling. The plan was straightforward: spend the afternoon paddleboarding along a quiet stretch of river, then park up near the scenic Pandora Inn, cook dinner in the van, and enjoy a peaceful solo evening. After checking with the pub staff and confirming he could leave his van in the lot as long as he came back for a drink, he headed down to the water.
I've just got the paddleboard strapped in up there. And my sort of plan for this trip, because the last couple of weeks I've not really spent a great deal of time in the van sort of enjoying it, is I figured I'd come down here, I'd go for a quick paddleboard out in the estuary there, and then I'm just gonna find somewhere to park up, cook dinner in the van, and just enjoy this space. I have to step on this. Just drop it.
do. Now how am I going to get down? Like this. Is this not working? Been learning from my mistakes, and I am putting on sun cream today. I got way too burnt on that boat last week. But the funny thing is, I actually put sun cream on last week, but just once in the morning, and that was it. Water shades. There we go. I am packing a few essentials in this dry bag, water being one of them. My phone, just in case I drift out to sea, and the van keys as well. So I'm strapping the water to the outside just so that it doesn't leak onto everything that's inside. I mean, it's just my drone, but it's not waterproof, so. Right, let's get in the water. Oh, step.
Subsequently, he goes back to the van, prepares food, and starts getting comfortable for the evening.
Gonna use the grill one tonight. Stop for sneaking up, I am going to open this door a little bit. Stop me getting too hot, I'm going to take my jumper off. I've had a lot of suggestions about like mounting a, I don't know, some sort of fan up here just to sort of suck all of this out. Because as great as the roof hatch is, it doesn't actually extract any of this steam, which is annoying. I may have overcooked my steak. Yeah, never mind. It's crispy though. That's all that matters, right? So my non-alcoholic drink for this evening is Pepsi Max. And I'm gonna enjoy this steak sandwich with a little bit of mustard. Considering I overcooked the steak, really good. I made another one. I mean, it was good, it just didn't really touch the sides. Oh, that was delicious. I've just got to tidy up now. Right. The sun's not quite down, but it is getting dark.
His audience expects this type of content, calm, comfortable, and self-aware, but when night falls, matters take a surprise turn.
They're actually flashing their lights, like what doggers do. Right, I gotta see this. It's literally way too dark out there for me to be sticking my camera out there with, well, the light of the screen on's just illuminating me too much, so all I can hear is doors shutting now. They've started their engine. I mean, it's all a little bit weird, isn't it? Oh, the other car's leaving now. Maybe they've spotted me out with the camera, so they're all off. I mean, like I said, as long as they don't keep me awake, it don't really matter, but
Suddenly, unfamiliar vehicles began pulling into the same secluded lot. At first, it seemed like harmless late-night traffic, but the patterns quickly shifted. Headlights flashed in deliberate sequences, engines sidled with no one stepping out, and car doors opened and closed without anyone ever approaching his van. It didn't take long for the realization to hit. This quiet, tucked-away spot wasn't just peaceful, it was a known dogging spot. Rather than panic, the creator kept his composure. He stayed put, continued filming, and maintained his usual tone, though he made it clear how strange and uncomfortable things had become. At one point, a car parked nearby and repeatedly flashed its lights, an action often used to signal others in these kinds of encounters. Muffled voices and the echo of slamming doors cut through the night. With a clear sense of caution, he locked his doors and chose not to engage. As the hours dragged on, some of the vehicles eventually left, perhaps noticing the camera or realizing they were being observed. There was no direct confrontation, but the tension lingered. By morning, the lot was quiet again. The creator confirmed the rumors he'd only vaguely heard before. This wasn't just a scenic pub parking lot, it was an active meeting point. He wraps up the video with a signature lightheartedness, laughing off the bizarre turn of events. But beneath the humor, the message is clear. What was supposed to be a simple, peaceful stealth camp had turned into something entirely unexpected and more than a little unsettling. Thanks for watching. Stay vigilant, friends.